Have you ever wondered how a new brand actually beats established market giants without just, slashing their prices to the absolute bottom? Imagine trying to compete against century-old legacy brands in the booming Indian appliance market. We're talking about brands that generations of families have literally grown up with. If you just race to the bottom on price alone, well, you usually end up destroying your own profit margins and your long-term brand value. But if you price too high, nobody's even going to give you a second glance. It's an incredibly tough, unforgiving needle to thread.
Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to decode the hyper-aggressive marketing strategy of global manufacturer Midea. We'll be looking at the exact step-by-step playbook they're using to invade and relentlessly capture market share in the highly lucrative and fiercely competitive Indian market. Because honestly, this isn't just about selling fridges. It is a fascinating case study in strategic market penetration. Okay, let's dive into our roadmap for today. We're going to cover the Indian appliance battlefield, targeting the modern consumer, the 4 Ps of Midea's strategy, how they're winning the digital space, their vulnerabilities and threats, and finally, their road to victory.
So, starting right off with Section 1, the Indian appliance battlefield. To truly understand Midea's strategy, we first have to look at the massive fortress they're actually trying to conquer.
Just look at the sheer weight of the competition standing in their way here. We are talking about entrenched heavyweights: LG Electronics, Samsung, Haier, Whirlpool, Godrej, Panasonic, Voltas. Midea isn't fighting these legacy kings on brand recognition, mostly because they simply can't. Think about it. How hard is it to break a family's loyalty to a brand like Godrej or LG when they've been using them for literally 3 generations? It's almost impossible. So instead, Midea is launching a highly calculated, targeted attack based entirely on innovation and just undeniable value.
And everything they do stems from a very specific core philosophy. Midea's entire global brand promise is built around just 2 words: simply ideal. It's a mantra focusing on practical innovation, steadfast reliability, and creating immense value for the consumer. Basically, they aren't trying to be the most luxurious brand out there, nor the absolute cheapest. They want to be the smartest choice. The brand that gives you, say, a perfectly chilled room in the middle of a brutal Indian summer without blowing out your electricity bill or your wallet.
That brings us to Section 2, targeting the modern consumer. Let's see exactly who makes up the vanguard Midea is trying to capture.
They are laser-focused on the 25 to 50 age demographic. Now, why that specific group? Well, because these are the folks buying their first homes, getting married, or doing major renovations. That makes them the absolute perfect entry point for a new appliance brand. Geographically speaking, they're targeting middle and upper middle-income households in metro areas, as well as Tier 1 and Tier 2 cities. They are deliberately going exactly where the rapid modernization of the Indian home is happening right this very second.
So, the really crucial point here is that Midea wants the modern, tech-savvy household. Picture a young professional in Mumbai or Bangalore finally setting up their first smart home. They're eco-conscious, they want their air conditioner to talk to their smartphone before they even leave the office, right? But they are also incredibly value-driven. This means they demand those high-end premium features, but they definitely don't want to pay that massive premium brand tax that usually comes with a legacy nameplate.
This brilliantly illustrates their exact positioning in the market. It's what you might call a golden triad, blending smart technology, eco-friendly energy efficiency, and a price point that makes premium living completely accessible. Now, striking this balance is incredibly difficult from a manufacturing perspective, mostly because cutting-edge tech almost always requires a premium price tag. But somehow, Midea manages to pull it off. They are effectively selling the convenience of a modern lifestyle, rather than just selling you the metal and wires of an appliance.
All right, moving on to Section 3, the 4 Ps of Midea. Let's explore the actual tactical weapons they bring to this fight, the marketing mix.
Let's start with the product itself. Instead of cautiously testing the waters with, 1 or 2 safe items, Midea essentially dropped a massive product parachute onto the market. From air conditioners and large refrigerators to washing machines, dishwashers, air fryers, and smart Wi-Fi-enabled devices, they completely flooded the zone. They pack all of these appliances with eco-friendly refrigerants and sleek, modern designs. And then, this is key, they back them up with remarkably long warranties, just to confidently prove their durability to any skeptical new buyers.
When it comes to price, Midea executes a very, very careful balancing act. You can think of this as the Goldilocks pricing strategy. Not too expensive, not too cheap, just right. They expertly wedge themselves right in the middle. They sit just below the premium pricing of giants like LG and Samsung, but comfortably above the local economy brands.
What this does is create a powerful value-for-money perception in the buyer's mind. You feel like you're getting a top-tier, incredibly reliable product, but at a really smart discount.
For place and promotion, they back up that strategic pricing by pushing products heavily through huge multi-brand retail stores and, critically, major e-commerce platforms. This widespread availability is then totally supercharged by massive Diwali festive pushes, digital ads, and other aggressive seasonal campaigns. They offer highly attractive EMI financing, major cashback offers, and they even leverage global sports partnerships. That last part brilliantly lends a strong sense of international credibility to their growing local presence.
But traditional marketing isn't enough to dethrone kings, right? So let's jump to Section 4, winning the digital space. Today's Indian consumers research heavily online before making a major appliance purchase. I mean, we all do, right? Midea maps this exact digital journey perfectly. Step 1, they catch buyers at the search engine with targeted SEO and Google Ads. Step 2, they educate them through highly detailed YouTube product demonstrations. And why is YouTube so vital here? Well, because appliances are high consideration purchases. People really need to see them in action before parting with their hard-earned money. Step 3, they build social proof through influencer interception and online reviews. And finally, Step 4, they convert that newly educated buyer right on the e-commerce marketplace.
Now, every challenger brand has weaknesses, which brings us to Section 5, vulnerabilities and threats. Let's find the chinks in the armor.
Looking at their internal and external factors, Midea obviously brings massive global manufacturing strength, heavy R&D, and a super-wide portfolio to the table. But they suffer from a glaring weakness, significantly lower brand awareness compared to a giant like Samsung or Whirlpool. That, along with a comparatively smaller regional offline footprint and service network. Add to that the constant external threats of intense localized price wars and incredibly rapid tech changes, and you can really start to see the precarious tightrope they're walking in this market.
So, the ultimate hurdle for this international brand is crystal clear. They have to establish deep, unshakable consumer trust in a very, very crowded space. Think about it. If your AC breaks down in the middle of a 45-degree summer, you really don't care about the initial purchase price anymore, do you? No, you only care about how fast the mechanic can get there to fix it. That is exactly where Midea needs to prove their reliability post-purchase, with stellar after-sale service, all while dodging those margin-crushing price wars.
This brings us to the final part of our explainer, Section 6, the road to victory. Let's lay out an actionable roadmap. To secure their foothold and genuinely expand, the data suggests a few key strategic recommendations. First up, they need to localize their voice by increasing regional language advertising. India is definitely not a monolith. Advertising in Hindi alone just won't win the South. Second, they absolutely must build tactile trust by expanding exclusive experience stores while aggressively strengthening that after-sales customer support we just talked about. They should also lock in B2B partnerships with real estate builders and smart home providers. I mean, imagine moving into your newly built apartment and all the smart appliances are already perfectly installed. That's a massive win. Finally, boosting influencer educational content and heavily pushing their sustainability features will keep them perfectly aligned with the modern buyer's values.
Ultimately, Midea has brought the right products and the right price to the battlefield. They have crafted a brilliant, digitally focused, value-driven playbook that is absolutely shaking up the old guard. But I'll leave you with this final question to ponder. In a market defined by deep historical loyalties and intense, relentless competition, will this calculated blend of global tech and local value actually be enough to dethrone the legacy kings of India?